So any plausible deniability that the Trump administration had vis-a-vis authoritarianism and fascism is now so far gone. So far gone. They have replaced the dog whistles with foghorns. This is not a particularly close issue. They're letting it all hang out. And the thing is, they've gotten away with so much for so long, they're feeling cocky. They're feeling arrogant. They're feeling, we're a runaway freight train and nothing can stop us. And look, I hope they're wrong. But at this point, I don't know. We're dealing with a guy, when it comes to Donald Trump, he literally got away with 91 crimes, right? 91 crimes he got away with. He got away with January 6th. He got away with the fake elector slate. And he feels like, shit, I can do whatever the fuck I want. And so he basically gave the keys to the Treasury to Elon Musk, let Elon Musk loot it, delete whatever agencies he wants to delete, even though he does it under the guise of, we're getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. Really? Cancer research is waste, fraud, and abuse? HIV medicine for kids is waste, fraud, and abuse? Is that what that is? Killing the entire CFPB, the anti-scam police, that's waste, fraud, and abuse? It's a lie. It's a lie, right? But here we go. Now they're screaming it through a megaphone. So the other day, this was yesterday. Here's what we got. Trump comes out and says, "He who saves his country does not violate any law." I want you to read that again. And I want you to read it another time. And I want you to read it until it clicks in your mind what he's actually saying there. He who saves his country does not violate any law. To translate that for you, he's saying, bitch, I know that I'm violating countless laws. I know Elon's violating countless laws. We don't care. I don't care about the law. I don't care about the Constitution. To me, it's the ends justify the means, and the ends are, I'm trying to save the country in accordance with my vision of the country. Well, what's his vision of the country? He wants to be the dictator. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to destroy the regulatory state, destroy the administrative state, destroy the social safety net. This is what him and Elon want. And he wants to be able to loot the Treasury with him and his robber baron buddies. And also, he wants to create roll the clock back to 1800 style imperialism, and he wants to create the tech native America, which includes us stealing Greenland, the Panama Canal, warmongering now with Mexico, keep saying he wants Canada to be the 51st state. This is what he wants to go down in history as like a conqueror, as a king. This is what he wants. And so he says, laws are irrelevant. I don't care about the law. I don't care about the Constitution, because he who saves his country does not violate any law. Now, of course, people immediately were like, oh, shit, look at this fucking Napoleon quote. It's very similar to that. Look at this Mussolini quote. It's very similar to that. Look at this Nazi quote. It's very similar to that. I mean, this is like textbook, classic, authoritarian, fascist dictator talk. It's not even subtle. It's out there in the open. So Trump comes out and says that. Mind you, at the exact same time, as you know, what they're currently doing, slashing every government agency that does decent things. They literally just fired the people who oversee our nuclear weapons. The 7 DOJ prosecutors resigned because they said, whoa, Trump is being super corrupt and trying to make a deal with Mayor Adams of New York and basically letting him get away with bribery and corruption in order for him to be a puppet of Trump. So you got all these things going on. This is what Trump tweets. Now look at Elon's reply. He posts a bunch of American flags. But hold on now. Take a minute to count the number of American flags. Pause the video and do it. What you'll find out is there are 14 American flags here. Now, you might say, well, hold on, man. That's, it's random. It's random. You just, hit the emoji a bunch of times and hit send. Is it, though? Because there's intentionality. It's like when Elon did his Nazi salute at the inauguration, right? There was intentionality there. The people who he wanted to get the message got the message. And everybody else was arguing, oh, no, bro, he's autistic. It was a Roman salute. He didn't even really mean it. I think what he meant to do was do the Nazi salute, but mask it a little bit where he left himself some wiggle room and plausible deniability, but he's too fucking stupid and he hit that bitch too hard 2 times in a row. And so it sort of all fell apart. But everything he does is intentional. So why did he put 14 flags? Well, there's this thing called the 14 words in Nazi circles. And here are what the words are. Ready? We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. It's literally a Nazi slogan. Followed by, here's the secondary slogan, because the beauty of the white Aryan woman must not perish from the earth. So the 14 words also abbreviated 14 or 1488, is a reference to two slogans originated by the American domestic terrorist David Eden Lane, one of 9 founding members of the defunct white supremacist terrorist organization, The Order, and are accompanied by Lane's 88 precepts. The slogans have served as a rallying cry for militant white nationalists internationally. So Trump has a quote here, basically like, yeah, I'm going to be a fascist dictator, fuck off. That's what I want, that's what I'm going to do, that's what I am. He who serves his country does not violate any law. I don't care if I violate any laws because I have a grander vision. I get to do what I want. And Elon quote tweets it with 14 American flags signifying the 14 words. Now look underneath that, right? This account here says, House Republicans move to impeach activist judges. In other words, all of the judges who heard the lawsuits from unions and federal workers and others who are going after Elon because, like, he's making all these illegal cuts and people are getting fired all over the place, right? Every judge that was like, hey, you can't do this. Hey, you have to put back up that CDC webpage and the HHS webpage that gives people important information. Hey, you can't cut all this U.S. aid funding. That's not how it works, and you need to go through Congress, right? All of those judges who are blocking Elon's actions, that's who they're referring to. By the way, it's Obama judges, it's George W. Bush judges, and it's Trump judges who are all saying the same thing. Doesn't matter. They want to get rid of all of them. So Republicans are trying to impeach the activist judges who are just upholding the law and saying that what Elon is doing is illegal, because it is, very obviously so. Elon says, momentum is growing rapidly to impeach activist judges who repeatedly fail to follow the law. Orwellian to the max. He knows he's the one who's not following the law. He knows he's that so-called activist who's ignoring the Constitution, ignoring our laws, hacking into the Treasury on the back end, and looting it while cutting important government programs. He has no authority to do that. He can't usurp Congress. He can't usurp the president. He knows he's breaking the law, but he's saying, no, we're going to impeach the judges who are upholding the law. Again, this isn't subtle, guys. This is all out there in the open. So, I mean, the fascism is it's oozing out of everything they say now. Out of everything they say. At this point, I don't want to hear both sides fucking bullshit, nonsense, false equivalence, garbage. I'm not interested in that. This is a fucking 5-alarm fire, and we need all hands on deck to call this out for what it is. Call a spade a spade. All right, more. So, this is a great point by this guy, Jim Stewartson. So, this is the DOGE logo here. Now, I gotta be honest, I look at this, nothing really hits me about it. Just looks like what I would expect like a DOGE logo to look like. But again, remember I told you, everything is intentional, right? So look at the O in DOGE. Okay. Does that look like anything here? So, I mean, the obvious point here is the wheel is the exact same that they used in this particular Nazi flag. Now, he goes on to explain here. The wheel is from the German Labor Front, part of the NSDAP, and the only legal labor union after the Nazis dismantled and purged all the unions from Weimar Germany. This isn't a dog whistle, it's a slap in the face. And here you go. Here's another picture of it here. You can see the wheel. So again, not all that subtle. Now, I'll give you one more here. So Elon came out and said, there was this big debate over, I think, I don't know, some reporter or some journalist, some host said something about how basically like excess free speech led to the Nazis' rise in Europe, right? Now, look, to be fair, I really do think that's a dumb point. Because the problem right now is not we have too much free speech. The problem is a lack of free speech for the people who are correct. Elon is routinely banning people who he doesn't like, who question his power, who question his authority, right? Cross Elon and all of a sudden his belief in free speech is out the window quick. He has a track record of banning and censoring and muzzling anybody who criticizes him. Right? At all of his companies throughout his time there. Trump, same thing. He's the most anti-free speech, anti-free press president we've ever had. He's suing all these media organizations because he doesn't like a quote in a book, or he doesn't like the results of a poll from the Des Moines Register. So to say like, oh, these guys believe too much in free speech. No, that's not the problem with Elon Musk and Donald Trump. The problem is the exact opposite. They're authoritarians and they censor free speech, right? So I don't agree with whatever stupid comment was made by whatever stupid fucking reporter it was. But Elon comes out in response to this and says, one of the first things Hitler did upon gaining power was apply aggressive censorship. So Elon says that. 20 minutes later, he says this. 60 Minutes are the biggest liars in the world. They are engaged in deliberate deception to interfere with the last election. They deserve a long prison sentence. So he went from censorship bad to censorship good in literally 20 fucking minutes, bro. 20 fucking minutes, bro. Look, I got to be honest with y'all. We all need to adjust to the times, right? Because I struggle with this. But these people don't care about being hypocrites. These people don't care about having a contradiction in their argument. It means nothing to them. In fact, many of them know they're being contradictory or they're being hypocritical when they say stuff. They don't care because to him it's all a raw power game. So he can go from free speech good to free speech bad in 20 minutes. And if you point out like, hey man, you're an idiot, that makes no sense, you contradicted yourself, you're a total hypocrite, he would just plow forward as if nobody said that to him, because apparently playing this game of, you know, the old flipping their own standard on them, or the old, like, I just fact-checked you, and this, like, it doesn't work in this day and age. That doesn't mean you don't point it out. That doesn't mean you don't bring it up, because good faith people, when they hear this, might go, yeah, that makes no sense. I'm with Kyle on this one. I'm not with Elon on this one. But at the same time, it's like, it's hard to believe he's dumb enough where he doesn't realize what he's doing here and just doesn't care. Because to him, what he really means, here's what he really means. Anybody who tries to censor me and tries to censor Trump and tries to censor our supporters, they're evil and bad and wrong and like Hitler. But when we censor our critics, we're based and Chad and right and correct and amazing and all beautiful stuff, right? Like, that's really how they think. So to try to have some objective standard and apply it across the board, with these guys, they fucking laugh at that. They shit on that. They have no interest. Objective standards, principles, convictions that you apply across the board. What are you, a fucking sucker? That's how Elon thinks. That's how Trump thinks. It's either that or just they're genuinely the dumbest people that have ever lived in this country ever. Because it's hard to me to imagine he literally didn't realize what he was doing here, because this is the most obvious contradiction of all time. But this is what they are, guys. I need you to understand that. It's all a power game. It's all about gaining more wealth, more control, more domination. Like, this is who they are. This is what they care about, right? And so it's astonishing. And then all the Elon simps will go from telling him he's right about the first tweet to telling him he's also right about the second tweet. Because when you, Daddy Elon, when you do censorship of your opponents, it's actually perfectly fair and reasonable, and you had to do it, right? Like, you are the ones who are in the fascist cult, y'all. I don't know how to get this through to you, but you guys are the ones who've rented out your brain to your idiot robber baron overlords in the form of Trump and Elon, and have humiliated yourself time and time and time again. So, it does. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than this, right? Like, these people are fascists. They are. They just are. It's not subtle. The dog whistle's been traded in for a foghorn. There's no way around it, and it's time for us all to adjust to that reality. You know, we can't let them get away with the shit that they're trying to get away with. It's that simple. And granted, you're only one person. I'm only one person. There's only so much we could do. But being active is so important. I don't care how you do it, but do it. Whether it's calling your congressman and you know, expressing your concerns, telling them to fucking fight and don't bend an inch to these fascists, telling them to call a spade a spade. Call your congressperson, protest in the street, target Elon and Trump specifically. I mean, we used to say this about Dick Cheney and George W. Bush, but I don't think they should get a moment of peace if they're in public. I think anywhere and everywhere they go, there should be somebody waiting to call them a war criminal and a torturer and tell them that they should be behind bars. Same fucking thing when it comes to Elon, when it comes to Trump. They shouldn't be able to go anywhere without being called war criminals and torturers and corrupt and robber barons and kleptocrats and criminals. Should not be able to go anywhere. Obstruct literally everything they do. This is what the Democrats need to realize. The days of bipartisanship, holding hands and singing Kumbaya and finding areas where we agree. It is so dead and gone, it's laughable. Unless you want to fucking hold hands with a fascist and meet a fascist halfway to do half fascist policies. I don't know about you. I'm more pro zero fascism. I'm not in favor of 50% fascism. File lawsuits. You got a bunch of unions that are doing it now. You got all these lawsuits that are being hurled at Elon and DOGE, and don't fucking stop with that shit. Here's another thing. Boycott their fucking businesses. Tesla sales have plummeted 60% in some places in Europe. They've also gone down about 11% here in the US. Let's make it so it goes down fucking 90%, bro. Let's make it so there needs to be consequences for what they're doing. And it's very clear the system is not kicking in where they are handling the rogue criminal actions of this regime. So it's on us to do whatever the fuck we can in our own capacity to bring about consequences. Because, I mean, AOC actually said it best. In this country, we fucking hate Nazis. In this country, we fucking hate fascists. That's sort of like one of the core beliefs of what it is to be an American, is fuck the Nazis, fuck the fascists. You know, it's supposed to be freedom and democracy over here, rule of law over here. And these guys are quite the opposite. You know, we've been taken over by the Axis powers, and they're sort of flaunting it in our face now. And so are we just going to sit there and take it? Are we just going to sit there and bleed? Or are we going to do something about it? I think we should do something about it. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.